it occurs to me that, you know, I was not I was not properly dressed in my uh Bunwee pirate attire, and thus there was just a floating gray image on screen, which I realized just as starting soon was about to end. So that's fun. Always neat when that happens. But also, hello. I've just been informed before coming on to stream that Wayne Brady has come out as pansexual. Good for him. I don't know. As someone who does not know celebrities very well, I had to check. I was like, that's the guy from Who's Line. No, not quite. I do that. I make sure to have food and such set up before, well before stream. Anyway, I was like, that's the guy from Who's Line, right? And it is. And honestly, I enjoy that. Always enjoy and the more inclusive the Who's Line cast is, the more I enjoy rewatching the clips. Just like, having a bunch of fun. All kinds of people, just having a bit of fun. I was gonna like do a different, what was I thinking of? Do a different scene from this tune, but then I was like, I got so close to finishing last night before I conked out for being a sleepy little man that honestly it would probably just be better if I finished it. You know? I know, listen, hey, wild thing. I know, but hear me out. What if I finish the concepts I make? What if I'm able to finish doing something? Mayhaps. Oh, mayhaps. Let us get a big old sketch brush and sketch out how the X should be. Yes. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I was talking about it a little bit on yesterday's stream, but the villain in this first cartoon may have some significance later. I'll never tell. But more importantly than anything else, he is fantasy cartoon Spanish from the Spanish Empire of this world. So I wanted to use a conquistador flag for his Jolly Roger. I thought that'd be a neato idea. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm a fool. But I'm doing my best. I'm taking risk out here. But also, hi Rico. I hope you're having a good day. My day was a little rough to start. I'm not going to lie. Let me be frank with the audience. Your boy Cahill was not having the best of times when the clock rolled around to today, but I was not upset like at midnight last night. I'm just saying I woke up, and the first bit of today was a little rough for me, just more mentally than anything, you know. So I was trying to just get by that. But now it's stream, and you want to know something? I'm gonna try and focus on just enjoying stream, because gosh darn it, isn't that why I stream in the first place? I had a rough end of the day. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Riku. Mayhaps I provide you with some distraction in doing my goofy, silly cartoons. That's the point. That's the point of them. So I feel like whether or not people know this is going to be like an alligator skull, which like that's what the pirate is. The pirate's like an alligator. Then I still think it reads as a Jolly Roger, which is probably the more important part. You know? Making sure people can tell it's a pirate flag. I love how I love for stuff like Jolly Roger. A lot of things will be like, yeah, we have no fucking clue who came up with that term for the sculling. I mean, I feel like that's the if you wanted to go with the more clinical term, then it would just be called the sculling crossbones, because that is kind of the ubiquitous sign for pirate. And whether or not any pirate flag actually includes a skull and crossbones, it does typically include skeletal elements to signify that you're about to be in a lot of danger. So, as good of any as a kind of just, you know, go-to descriptive term as anything else. If you want to kind of nix the term Jolly Roger, being like, I don't know. I don't know what that means. No. I gotta look up the thing me and Pig were talking about on stream last night. Also, let me make sure Discord's all set up. Because here's the thing, right? So I feel one of my friends was talking to me about the idea. I'm gonna follow up on something. Get a full roll call going for who can be there. I'm making plans. It'd be 3. Okay, there we go. And I believe Discord's working. But anyway. Oh yeah, I was talking to a friend not too long ago about, like, you know, calls on stream and everything. And they had mentioned that, like, the idea of if not wanting everyone to always be in a call on stream, as in, like, when they're watching it, they don't want the person to actively be in an open VC people are joining. They kind of like the idea of a solo streamer. And I get that. I mean, there's different content all around the place. Kind of separated by multiple personalities bouncing off each other in solo acts. But I mean, honestly, if nothing else, it's just nice to be able to talk to my friends. So, at the end of the day, that tends to be the larger factor as to why I stay in a VC. Because I'm just like, hey, if friends want to hang out, then do it. It is a private one, which, I mean, is largely just because if I go real public with it, then just anyone can join. And for multiple reasons, that's a bad idea. My mom, after a stream yesterday, my mom was talking to me, and they're like, did you hear about someone doing a meet and greet for Twitch, and they didn't organize it, so people rioted it? And I was like, Mom, that is one of the early lessons on the internet. Also, it is currently storming very bad where I'm at. Let's see if stream holds out. If not, then, you know what, I'm okay. I won't be too brokenhearted about it. But it'd be nice if we could get a good stream going. Riku, do you live close to me? Are you around the block from me? Or are you in my closet? I prefer the former rather than the latter, but, you know, to each their own. If you're out here saying I'm good with what I live in Maryland, okay. So you live somewhat close to me. Oh my goodness. There was some kind of noise. The house is coming down. I don't. I was thinking today. Okay, I quit an app on my computer, and I was like, did it cut the music? How did it cut the music? But anyway, but I mean, I was thinking today about moving out and such. You know how it is. And boy, I'd love to get that figured out eventually. If anything, I could kind of say that's why I'm doing my monthly goals, because I want to be able to move out eventually. And even if part-time jobs aren't working out, if stream works out, then at least I have something I can count on for mayhaps some months. This is not going to be an incredibly accurate cross of Burgundy, but oh no, I got the flag of the conquistadors wrong. All those conquistador fans are gonna be so upset with me. Are there people who are real? I mean, probably like in a history way, which is usually pretty fine, you know, if they're just like, this was a wild time in history, and I am interested in it for that. That I can get with. But are there people who are just like, no, I love the conquistadors, and be like, they were awful people. They did horrible things. Please don't be a fan of them. It's like, no, they're cool. I mean, there probably is. That was what the Barbie movie was about. The patriarchy. I've talked before. I said to people in real life, I was concerned with what they were doing in Ken in the Barbie movie, but what they were doing with Ken was just kind of talking about real life, which, I mean, good art should always kind of do, where it's just like, hey, Ken, who feels inadequate, has turned to a toxic mindset to feel better. You wouldn't do that, would you? So hi, Paula. We're finishing up our flag animation before moving on to else what. How are you doing today? Is it storming where you're at too, Paula? Because it was just kind of overcast all day, and then the sky opened up literally just a minute ago as I've started streaming, so that's my life at the moment. A deluge. I stand by what I said when Pig asked that one time travel question. Like, it's not a go-to, but if I could, you know, find out what kind of inspired the story of Noah's Ark, then I'd be real interested in seeing it. It was earlier than last night. I guess there's just a storm front moving across the country. It's moving right along, in search of good times and good news. But with good friends, you can't lose. This could become a habit. Now, I like the Muppets, okay? This is a Muppet loving zone. If y'all don't like the Muppets, you can get out of here. No, please stay. Honestly, I'm not at a point where I can delineate my audience by liking the Muppets or not. I feel like it'd be weird. Like, I get if you don't, you know, if you don't find a lot of entertainment in their shows, but actively not liking the Muppet, that's kind of weird. I despise the Muppets. You literally sound like one of the villains from one of the movies. When you first learn that a lady sings this song, the King Dice song, then it's definitely wild, but the more I've listened to it, the more I'm just like, oh yeah, I've heard other ladies sing like this. But in the moment, with the imagery of King Dice in front of you and everything, it's very just like, that's a dude. That's not Lady. King Dice is saying this, and he's a guy. I do love a lot of the King Dice fights in Cuphead. I love their inspiration. I feel like, so, I mean, one of my favorite, I'm trying to think. Thanks, Rich, for giving me 5 seconds of Cahill and then an ad. My favorite right after Redacted. I'm sorry, Wax. You shouldn't mess with King Dice. Don't do it. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, don't do that. That's not on you, that's on Twitch. It is! It is Twitch's fault. My immediate reaction is to curse the buffoon who's currently running Twitter, but he doesn't own this site, and hopefully he never does. I don't think he has the money anymore. Like, granted, he's not... My hopes that he would go broke, kind of in your traditional sense, have definitely been shattered, but he definitely can't do the same thing twice, because I heard very recently he doesn't have the money to do certain things, so... Is ever going... Yeah. I will say, I don't know if I talked about this on stream, but there's this one thing I heard about someone talking about Bezos and being just like, you know, he just figured out the best way to do capitalism. Is that bad? And I would argue, no, on paper, but what's bad is the fact that not everyone who works for him shares in that, that luxury, even though he can definitely afford it. Not to get too downer, but, you know. I think if anything, you can just say he showed people there's a way they can do it the best. And unfortunately, he hasn't done it quite to perfect. Jeff Bezos got an A on capitalism. You only get an S if you also manage to treat people nicely doing it. You know what I mean? It's like a Resident Evil run. You can get up to a very good grade on capitalism, but the only way to get an S is if you're also nice to people. So yeah, well, obviously. I was thinking about that, right? Because, so, again, I don't want to make this political, but what I'm saying is, like, if I make good movies, right? If I am the head of a studio making the best animated movies, making the most money, basically making myself a Disney out here, but I am giving all that money away, and or otherwise, like, giving it to, you know, the people who work for me. Crazy also high paid. I love you. Crazy concept, I know. But will my, like, you know how they're like net worth? Does that reflect that? Is it just like theoretically if he keeps it all, this is what he's worth, but he doesn't? Or is it only if you like hoard it like a dragon? Like a bad dragon. Everyone should all start calling billionaire. I'm saying still died before becoming a bit bad. Exactly. Can we all start calling billionaires bad dildos because they're a bunch of bad dragons hoarding the wealth? Which is a wild thing to think about. I don't know how money works, but it's wild to think that someone can just like just like, it's mine now. And it's like, what the heck do you mean it's yours now? This is supposed to be a thing everyone can get. No, it's all mine. It's like, all yours? Also what? Okay, so, Zayd. billionaires, people at least enjoy Bad Dragons. They might. Some people do. Some people don't. If you're not big on insertion, probably not big on Bad Dragon. At least for yourself. Hi, Zaid. Zaid, you're one of my favorite people. I want you to know that. And also, I'm still curious. You may always share a thing. Also, let me say this. It's Lime's birthday. Shout out to Lime. Is it cats? Is that the thing you're sharing? A new cat emote? That's very good. I hope everyone wish them a very happy birthday. And more so that, you know, more so they've gotten lots of gifts. I animate that. Oh, I can't see animations. I use he, him. Gotcha. I hope I didn't say it wrong. Oh, that's very well animated, Zayd. That's amazing. I can't see it on my phone. I can't see animated emotes anywhere I normally watch Twitch, which is wild. Also, Locks. I hope that's a reminder and I didn't say it wrong. If I did, I apologize for using wrong pronouns with you. But regardless. Oh yeah. I still want to know if I'm giving away my money, does that mean my net worth is lower? Because isn't that based on, how much you're, isn't that more supposed to be based on how much you're worth in, theory? I appreciate the reminder, Wax. I'm just paranoid. Anyway, I don't know. I know nothing about monies. Wow. It's not how much you're worth in nets. That's disappointing. I'd like it to be. Okay, so I'm going to do a thing. Here's the benefit of having computers when it comes to drawing in the 21st century and digitally. I'm not gonna just copy and paste this, but to know how I should be drawing it while it's all warped, I can actually warp it. And that's pretty neat. That's pretty neato. Milk Call, which is, man, Milk Call. I don't think I've heard the name Milt a lot. I've definitely never heard the name Call, which is, let me just put it in chat. Call. Milk Call. Have you loved any Golden Age Disney animation? Chances are he worked on it. Calls. Makes it sound like the old Walking Dead meme. But Milk Call was a Disney animator who was so talented that what he loved to do, you might have seen Tigger do this in a Winnie the Pooh, but he would make the characters shake their head while talking, which means he would have to be consciously animating a 3D character on 2D paper and lip syncing it, which is very hard. I can barely do lip syncing, period. So yes, he was very talented, but he didn't have computers to help him with it. So he can suck that. Yeah, no, it's so well. Also, by the way, well, I want to say, I give a lot of credit to Walt Disney for the innovations he made in a lot of entertainment. I feel like it's, it's very, especially with how Disney is now, it's very easy to rag on him, but, among other things. But, who should be even more known than him is Iwerks, who first off, has an amazing name, and second off, was he Ukrainian? I think he was Ukrainian. I vaguely remember that. Iwerks. But, don't get me wrong, Walt had a good hand in definitely, the early animations, but he was did the work. He was born in America. Maybe like his I feel like it was descendant. UBBE ERT ERT Iwerks IWWERKS. But yeah. To say that Disney is a business nowadays because Ub lifted it up with his massive creative muscles would honestly probably be an understatement. Heck, I mean, I'm making a cartoon basically based off of the work he did. Like, when I'm thinking of you know, 1920s rubber hose, I'm thinking of Iwerks. I didn't grow up on a lot of Fleischer or Warner Brothers. Tom and Jerry, but not Looney Tunes or Betty Boop. No Betty Boop for me, thank you. He's just a big Betty Boop fan. Stretch. Pig adjacent communities. I mean, even though the Watch isn't a team anymore, I still consider it kind of. A lot of people in the Watch are just kind of on good terms with each other, pop in each other's streams, hang out. So, I mean, Pig will probably reach partner before me if either of us do. So, chances are he'd be the one to do it. But if I made a team, I'd be like, Pig, get in here, you big lug. I thought someone had joined Discord, and I was like, was that his cue? Perfect timing. And now he's being self-conscious because I'm talking about him and he's lurking, and I'm sorry. I just like showing affection for my friends. The only ship that doesn't sink is the friendship. Oh, actually, you know, something just occurred. Well, I mean, I'm still gonna ask, but I should ask about certain planes later. I should see something about Zaid. Be like, hey Zaid, what's going on? And I said, hey. I'll whisper to you later. There's more excuses to hang out with good people. That's what I'm saying. Love streaming to be a job. I'd love it if I was being paid to hang out with friends. Isn't that just kind of what school is to a degree? Like if you're having a good time in school, it's because you are being mandated to stay in rooms with people who are your friends. That was the redeeming qualities of high school to me. Deja's my best friend, and like, you know, and I spent 4 years just hanging out in the same place as them. So, did crash sync in that one video one time way back. Speaking of videos, I uploaded a very recent clip to TikTok. And I don't plug my TikTok because, like, literally the opposite is supposed to be true. I want people to come here from TikTok. But it was funny. It made me laugh. It made me laugh last night. It made me laugh when I uploaded it, so. I got a couple things I gotta upload. I was gonna upload the Barbie clip today, where I talk about Bibble from Fairytopia, but it was hard to clip. It's hard. The fact that clips and highlights are different things is annoying. Battle Block Theater opening cinematic. Oh no! Not the friendship! friend may have end in it, but does that pun work in other languages? Probably not. That's the other thing with time travel, right? Bringing it back around to that conversation from like 3 streams ago. Or freaking... It's probably best just to be an observer, not because of any time shenanigans, but being like... But do you know you can contact, make communication with those people from however long ago? In different places? You're going back to a different time in a different place, and you're just like, yes, I will probably be able to speak to these people. I'm gonna say probably not. Heck, most languages, despite always being labeled as the same language, have changed a good degree over the millennia. So... I'm not even gonna count on English being something I can count on. I don't count on going back in time in England and being able to talk to English people. I can barely talk to people with an English accent now. I remember when Spider-Verse came out and I heard Hobie came in his first scene. I was like, I can't understand a fucking word this guy is saying. I never thought about Hobie being British in the comics, even though, on like a trivia level, I knew Hobie was British in the comics. You know, just reading the text, I didn't think about that. I didn't put a thick accent on him. And then in the movie, boy oh howdy. Also, I don't know if I've ever said this on stream, but detail I really like, in the comics, Hobie is leading a revolution against, like, Prime Minister Norman Osborn, who obviously is Spider-Man's worst enemy there. But in the movie, we do get one shot of the Prime Minister of Hobie's dimension, and it's Kingpin, which is a nice touch. If you're able to pick up on it, then it's like, oh, like from the, oh, I get it. I get it. It's their continuity. He's a shithead in other worlds, too. Oh. No. Oh! You want to know something? I was just like... Did I make this character, this pirate we're drawing the flag for right now? I was like, did I make him a crocodile or an alligator? I remembered I made him a crocodile, not an alligator, because he's faking people out with the flags. So he's crying crocodile tears. What I've just said is incredibly stupid, but it makes sense to me. Honestly, maybe this should just be... Maybe this should be the... So this would be the one below it, that transparent one. That would be frame 24 of this sequence. And then maybe I should just make this frame 25, and then we stretch it even further before it snaps back. So then we would have 2 more flag frames. This is, you gotta use your noggin. You gotta think about it while animating. Think hard. It can be hard to, it can be hard to think at such a level, I know. Bum bum ba da da ba 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 da ba 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 da ba 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 ba. Okay, here's what I'll do. I had it like this thick. How thick did I make this flag? Thick. No, I'm getting close. It's like 50. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Add a layer. I don't know if I talked about it on stream either, but what was I thinking of? People had talked about the idea of Gwen in Spider-Verse being trans and everything. And, like, totally behind that headcanon. But also, I make the argument that that can just be her story to begin with. She comes out to her dad as Spider-Woman. Like, the whole thing could just be allegory all the way down. Is what I'm saying. Either one works great. I think I might have talked to Juice about this on stream. But I still think about it. Like I said, I saw the movie again not too long ago. Because movies like those deserve to be seen multiple times in theaters. You know I'm right. Spider-Verse is a good movie. Good movie. I still believe in the idea of just like, if you like something, support it with the monies. And then people will realize that and make more of them. If not, then I don't know what's even happening anymore. I thought if there was one thing we could all count on, it would be, you know, money. Making people do things. You know? I thought that was the basis of commerce around here. If that's not true, I don't know what's happening. I'm so completely lost. I don't know how things work. I'm just a simple man who wants to make cartoons. And it's just... Oh, okay. I gotta do a thing real quick. Like I said, I'm just a simple man who wants to make cartoons. And then I got a text about something I need to do right now. Right now. I'm gonna... Juice. I owed someone money for getting me some of my energy drinks. Helping me stay active. I took the time while doing that to look at stuff my friends were saying, and they're funny. You ever just glad you have people in your life? I am. I was thinking about this last night. Sometimes the world is just enchanting, you know? Even if you want to, even if you're like, well, Earth's not, guess what? There's other places in existence besides Earth, and there will continue to be. The world is big and beautiful. Sometimes it's good just to really enjoy it. You know? No dooming and glooming. Turn that frown upside down. And then I just put your... Lord, could you imagine what it'd be like if our heads were just turned completely around? Vertically? Like, your brain was basically where your jaw would be, and vice versa. I mean, would it be better if the brain was protected under a thick layer of bone, where the throat would typically be almost like a hard kind of frog neck, and then the mouth was on top? So basically what I'm describing is that your brain is protected in a structure resembling a frog's, you know, whatever that's called. And then Your mouth almost opens like a trash lid. I'm the trash man. You get what I'm saying? No, me neither. But listen, hear me out. Hear me out about this revolutionary new idea. Where we shovel food into the tops of our heads. You might say, Cahill, that's ridiculous. No creature could have biology like that. But there is it called like the globe-eyed fish? The glass-eyed fish? It's something like that. There's a fish with a transparent skull and eyes inside of it that are looking straight up. Weird fish. I love me a weird fish. I don't know if I was talking on stream about how, like, you know, a lot of people are afraid of deep sea fish, but more likely than not. Well, okay, so I was about to say that more likely than not, a deep sea fish won't hurt you. But granted, they are basically floating around looking for food in it, like any food they can get a hold of. So I wouldn't be surprised if it did try and bite you. But regardless, I remember my brother and me talked about it, and they were just like, it's scary, but then it's like, these are in a place so remote that they might as well be made up, you know? If we did not have deep sea submersibles, most deep sea fish would only exist to us in the corpses that we find of them, which are very far and few in between, because again, those guys are looking for any food they can. It's a hard world living down there. I feel like the real evolutionary benefit to living in such a harsh climate is that most other things aren't. You know? Like, sure, there's lots of kinds of deep sea fish, but more fish live near the top than anything else. In fact, a lot of fish make it their habit to go super deep during the day and then swim back up for food during the night, when predators are less likely to be able to find them. Which was real interesting. Forget if I was talking on stream about like the mega mouth shark and everything, which is super cool. They're super rare too. And as far as I know, we believe they do something similar, despite how big they are, but they do something similar where during the day they're very deep down where we'd never be able to find them. And then during the night, they come on up looking for like krill and such. Because the 3 biggest sharks in the world are all filter feeders. Not the Megalodon. Megalodon doesn't exist anymore. I know. Jason Statham is so sad. He's lost another co-star. I forgot he was in Fast and the Furious. That's not what I meant with that, but regardless, he's lost a co-star in the Megalodon. That is the Fast and Furious guy is the one who stars in the Meg too, right? Like I said, I'm very bad with celebrities. I'm not good at identifying famous people. I don't know if I've talked about how to what my family have said, my grandfather literally bumped into Ariana Grande at one point in Disney World, and that she was like walking around to do something, and that he actually like bumped her because he didn't realize like that someone was there. You know, it's crowded, and then a rush of people. If this isn't true, do not blame me. blame my grandparents. They're the one who told me. You know, they also told me that at one point my uncle, you know, aka my mother's brother, had lived with them for so long that that they moved out without telling him and just left a note being just like, hey, we're going, you figure out where to live from here. And then at some point, you know, they're like, no, we didn't do that. It'd be like, that, I've heard that many times since being a child. But okay, I guess you've just lied to me consecutively. Oh, it's cool for you guys to lie about a humorous story about abandoning my uncle. But when I lie about going to get crack cocaine... I feel like there's a very humorous... No, not the bone. The type of story. The genre of storytelling.
The genre of Cahill's cuteness?
The genre of Cahill Sex Simulator, now on Nintendo Switch.
$60 for a 15-second experience really wasn't worth it.
No. But I'm... Okay, so here's the thing, right? Like, one,
Cahill, I'm sorry. This gets shorter every time I make this joke.
That's fine. Honestly, I love that.
That's what she said.
No, I love that. I love that form of comedy for you, and I'm not going to feed into it at the same time. Anyway, but what I was going to say is, listen, I'm glad that, like, especially towards the beginning of the Switch's lifetime, they're like, every game we can get the rights to, put it on the Switch. But also, people really blew their load, as I did, in Second 5 of Cahill Sex Simulator, with the whole, like, Nintendo used to be a family company, because they did that with, like, all the characters that got butts, right? But now there's hentai games in the top bestsellers on the Nintendo eShop, and I don't know who decided that was okay. I don't know who was like, yes, put the hentai games on there, too.
Yeah, But unfortunately, they're hentai games without the nudity, which is like...
Oh, is that true?
The entire... Yeah.
Okay.
You still can't have, like, actual nudity, so it's just like... It's taking away the entire purpose of a hentai game. Let's be honest.
Well, also, hi, Greg. But I was going to say that, freaking, I didn't know that, and that's even wilder. Because it'd be like if you put pornography simulator onto Switch, and it's just like, well, the word porn is right up on the front title, but it's like, no nudity, so it's fine. It's like, it's not, like, this is the thing, right? It's one of those things where people are just like, we gotta be safe, we gotta be advertiser friendly. It's just like, yeah, but you're riding the line close enough that you should really just stop this, fake high horse you're standing on, because we all know. We all know what a sex is here, and you do too. You're just trying to pretend not to.
I hope that the main character of Cahill Sex Simulator gets to be added to Smash next time.
I know. and their final Smash is telling all the characters it was disappointingly short, which instantly kills them. So, hey, you want to know something? This is real. This is real. This is intimate. And this is true, and I want to speak my truth. I'm so sad that we didn't get a Zelda and Link kiss in Tears of the Kingdom. And listen, I know it's a main Nintendo couple. I know it's Zelda, yada yada yada. But genuinely, that is the only Zelda and Link coupling I care about, and also based on the fact that Zelda now lives with Link, it seemed more likely than ever.
I was always kind of on board with the Link Malon kind of childhood sweethearts to later thing in Ocarina of Time. I always thought that was a very sweet one.
1 second, Pig. Greg, thank you for gifting a thing to Lude Line. And Pig, so this is... I want to give you the only benefit to the batshit crazy timeline of Zelda that Nintendo came up with, which doesn't need to exist because it can literally just be like, it's a reincarnation, like, go crazy with it, who cares? But since there's a timeline where Link stays an adult and is like a hero in the eyes of Hyrule, and one where he goes back in time and is a kid, then there are 2 separate timelines where he gets to date and have a family with Marin, and same with Zelda. Because in one, he would be like a proper knight and, like, obviously completely suited to marrying the princess, on top of the fact that he spent the entire adventure with her as Sheik. Whereas the other one is like, he probably wouldn't be as close to Zelda going back to being a child, because, like, he's not going to be a knight or hero all of a sudden just because he tattled on Ganon. Like,
the thing is, Um, the Zelda in Ocarina, I never really got much there.
We didn't do this on stream. This was a private conversation. You saw it because it was in a Discord you're in. But like I was arguing about it because I would argue the chemistry between that Zelda and Link specifically exists. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Hello, Mr. Pig! Oh my lord! Leech!
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Thank you for elite amount of dollars, Mr. Pig. I literally don't know why you did that, but thank you. Also, happy B-Day, Lime. Everyone go watch. Shout out to Lime. I didn't give a proper shout out. I'll do it now. But anyway, I want to argue that their chemistry comes in like it's like I'm trying to think of like a good superhero pairing, but it's like Lois Lane and Clark Kent, right? Lois Lane loves Clark Kent and has a thing for Superman before she finds out they're the same person. And that's Link with Sheik and Zelda. Link is like, the princess is pretty, and I love Sheik. And then he finds out they're the same person, and he is like, this works. This is the best timeline for me.
No, you see, I never quite felt that. At least like my interpretation of it was always that Link was a little bit disappointed to find out that Sheik was a girl.
Yeah, that is also completely.
It was very much Mulan syndrome.
Well, you shouldn't rob the buys of their representation, Pig. They deserve good eatings too. So let Link be bi.
No.
Okay,
first Link is bi. It's not that Link doesn't like women because he does like Mal.
Yeah.
It's just that Sheik specifically.
He wanted it to be a hot guy under that mat. Okay, that I get. But Zelda can still peg him, as many Zeldas will be tend to do. So.
Specifically Tetra.
Tetra
is the piggiest.
I would argue, I was just thinking about that. I feel like that one specifically, no. Like Tetra's in charge. It's just that Link is just too sassy. Toon Link is very sassy.
I agree. Tetra does not peg Link. Tetra pegs every other member of the crew.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Well, no, not at the start, because before the games, like maybe when she's older. I don't know about that because she was a kid when she knew them, and then
you know what I mean, Cahill.
No, I know. Yeah,
I just mean like personality-wise.
Yes. Well, yeah, she's the dominating force in that group. But regardless, anyway, yeah. I mean, listen, the true princesses we know peg. Hello, Greg. Oh my lord, 5382. Thank you, Greg.
Greg, that's so powerful. Also, I'm glad Yang got involved in that.
Yang does. Oh my. Does that alert still say Yang?
It does. Yang thinks they're a chum.
No, listen. Yang
that's why Greg did that amount.
Why is that?
69.
Oh, that's very powerful. Thank you, Greg. Anyway, all I'm going to say is that the two Zeldas that absolutely peg their Links are Ocarina of Time, when Link knows she's Sheik, and Twilight Princess, because fucking look at her.
Oh, yeah.
My headcanon is that since Zelda and Link are always being reincarnated, and the reason for that is because at the beginning of time, they were a couple, is that Link, like, they go on a break so that Link can, like, date Malin and stuff, like, they're just like, listen, we've been doing this for a while, let's spice things up a bit. So Link goes off and has, like, a whole family with Malin, as Zelda does whatever she does.
Slightly disagree. I'm going for the polyamorous throuple approach.
Well, I mean, it's kind of that. It's kind of like an open relationship thing at that point, because I imagine they're like, I don't know if it's an afterlife, the respawn lobby of Hyrule or whatever, when they're fucking, in between reincarnations. But they're just like, hey, listen, we've been doing this for a couple thousand years at this point. How about we take a little break real quick, find some other people out there, and then maybe get back together some other time. And they're just like, sure, it's a very healthy relationship sort of thing. It's just and I mean, if anything, that kind of just supports the fact that Zelda was in a lesbian thing with Midna during Twilight Princess, because
Absolutely.
don't they know each other at the start? They get like
Yes.
Midna's just like Zelda, and she's just like, oh yeah, I'm Zelda to Link. So
And Midna is incredibly flirty.
yeah, I mean,
Admittedly with everybody, but
if I'm gonna say true Link and true Zelda, as in like the thing that is getting reincarnated anytime.
yeah.
If they were ever going to be an actual poly couple, where there was a third in the relationship, it was going to be with Midna, but they didn't get to say anything before she broke the link between worlds, which is not the game Link Between Worlds, but the link between worlds. You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Yeah.
Also, my issue with your initial premise
Yes.
is that as much as I love Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom,
Yes.
it is the most sexless Link has ever been. I don't think this Link has genitals of any kind. And
There's a video that disagrees with you about that.
The thing is, this Link is like the most ace a being can be.
I mean, I get why you're saying that, but I'm also not going to buy into the Pharaoh Link does not like Zelda kind of thing.
I am also 100% on board with the Link is transmask theories. They fit so well, especially in Breath of the Wild.
I mean, I just think it'd be fun to explore different variations of Link as different people, given that that would be one of the few benefits of reincarnation, yada yada yada. So the fact they can't actually make Zelda a girl in these games.
This is a little bit like the multiverse discussion we had yesterday. Like, one of the advantages of a reincarnation story is that you get to explore aspects of that reincarnation. And if you're not going to, that's just boring.
Exactly. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I think it is interesting to explore Hyrule, and I mean, even though we have the quote-unquote official timeline, the idea to be like, oh, now Hyrule has changed like this, yada yada yada. Like, one of the things I love doing with that is like mapping Hyrule around Death Mountain, because like, you know, Kakariko Forest and Hyrule Castle can be moved and rebuilt and stuff like that over and over again, but Death Mountain is an immovable object, which means in all the games, I was thinking of, like, that is the one point in Hyrule you can be like, this is the same every time, so what changed in Hyrule since then? Which is actually even more interesting to think about, because in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, it's in the northeast of the map, right? And in Zelda 2, you are to the northeast of Death Mountain, which means we don't actually get to see the area in that. There is land there. You can see it from Death Mountain and stuff like that, but you don't actually get to see what's over there. So you can easily just be like, that is where Zelda 2 takes place, and we just don't get to go there in this game, yada yada yada. Which is very boring, very nerdy of me, but I mean, we're having this discussion, so like
well, Greg, that was the original concept behind Zelda 2, actually.
Yes.
A lot of the enemy names kind of hint towards that. Now, unfortunately, none of the aesthetic actually builds towards that, and I think there is such cool opportunity for either a steampunk or a cyberpunk Zelda.
That would be cool.
But I don't think either of those will happen as a mainline thing. I would like to see those done by, like, Studio Grezzo or one of the other studios that's been given like a little bit of a looser leash.
I mean, the idea of like almost a Yarnum Hyrule, where the dungeons are the sewers and stuff like that, would be super cool, and I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
But also, fun fact, Link is canonically named Link, despite you being able to name him, you know, in the different games, because the idea was that he was a link between certain aspects.
Player and character.
Well, not just that, but like different. Well, and also the reason I'm saying it like this is because they have played with that in every game. Link is a link between something. Tears of the Kingdom, he's the link between, you know, the Sky Islands and the depths. He is literally linking the Tears of the Kingdom, Tiers. In Breath of the Wild, he's linking the events of 100 years ago to modern day, because he's finally come back after all that time. You know, I could go on and on what he's representing a link between in each single one, but again, I don't need to be such a big Zelda nerd about it. That's what I'm saying. There's legitimately very, very cool stuff in each Zelda, even if Nintendo doesn't always intend it because they're tech cowards. But so, you know, I like exploring it when I get to think about it and everything. We're just like, oh, think about that, yada 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 yada. Because relatively, when Hyrule generally stays the same and stuff like that, I feel like it's just fun to be like, oh, so this has changed slightly and this has changed slightly, but all in all, generally the same area. I mean, in Breath of the Wild, even though I guess it was a lot. Was there a Kakariko village in Twilight Princess or no?
If there is, I don't believe you ever visit it.
Okay, because I was gonna say, again, official timeline. Who the fuck cares about that? But you know, when we saw Kakariko village.
No, wait. I'm being silly. Of course there is.
What is it?
It's at the base of Death Mountain.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's there.
Yeah.
In Breath of the Wild, in Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild, Kakariko Village is in the foothills of Death Mountain every single time, except for like the old school 2D games where it is on the other side of Hyrule, where they have decided to move it completely away from Death Mountain. And maybe there's like a reason for that. Maybe in those eras of Hyrule it got too dangerous to live that close to Death Mountain. That could be a reality. Or maybe no one cares as much as I do, but either way, I think it's interesting to think about. If anything, it's fun when sometimes a game leaves enough spaces for you to think about and put your own headcanons in. Should that be the norm?
Interesting to think about.
No, you. I think you're interesting to watch on twitch.tv/Fantastic Mr. Pig. So.
How dare.
It's true. Pig question.
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy me posting a Xenoblade clip today?
I did. It was very good.
You're very good. Yeah. I mean, that is the one thing, because I legitimately made myself laugh so hard with that yesterday, and then also, I was just like, well, I have to post it, and then also stitch on the clip from the game where it happens, because if nothing else, then that's what it gives me the opportunity to do. Show people, it's just be like, hey, isn't this silly? Isn't this silly penis moment in a Nintendo game?
Yeah, my favorite thing is how well I know that game, because I'm like, I know exactly the moment this is happening, and like you cut it off just before this Rex's face shatters the camera.
Yes, yes, I did.
Which is like one of the weirdest fourth wall breaks.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Does that lead into a battle? Because that's what it seemed like. Okay, that's what it seemed like in the cutscene.
Into the second battle against Zeke and Pandoria.
Okay, because that's what it seemed like when I was watching the clip, and I was like, this is weird. It's weird they did this, but I'm also very into it, so good for you, Xenoblade.
Well, that's one of the things. Like, Xenoblade 2 has this weird mix of really serious and really goofy moments.
I mean, that's anime.
And, well, that's the thing, it's actually the most anime of them all, in a lot of ways.
In 2?
Yeah.
Okay,
Xenoblade 2 is the most anime.
Gotcha. I mean, hey, that kind of makes me want to play it more.
Not just in terms of art style, but, I mean, they've got a Hot Springs episode.
Heck yeah!
I think that's all I need to say.
Yes. Yeah. That's fantastic. I mean, heck, that makes me want to play it. I feel like any RPG like that kind of has to compete with Persona 5 for me, because genuinely, I adore Persona 5. Its strong art direction, its story, everything. So, like going to another kind of like 3D, RPG system kind of thing after that is just like, okay, I'm thinking of this. Let's see how, this is, and mostly how it engages me, because Persona 5 legitimately had a good way of keeping me hooked the entire time I was playing it, which is not always easy when you're making a 60+ hour game. So
I feel like Xenoblade 1 still has the strongest story of the three mainline ones.
Mm-hmm.
Xenoblade 3 has the best and most refined gameplay. Xenoblade 2 has by far the best music. But yeah, so like if you want to try one of them, I would recommend Xenoblade 1. It also has the best early game pacing.
Gotcha. Pig, let me ask you something though, since we're continuing our Xenoblade discussion tonight. So
Apparently, yeah.
I like collecting things like comics and games. So let's say since I love the Wii and I love any excuse to play the Wii, want to get the Wii version of Xenoblade 1. Is that okay? Or are you just like, no, they did a Triforce quest. You have to play the remake or else it's not worth doing.
So there are very few content differences.
Mm-hmm.
I would strongly recommend the definitive edition because it looks better. One of the big things is it runs better. There's one notorious location in Xenoblade 1 with a draw distance of, I'm not kidding, like 20 feet.
Yeah.
Like the pop-in is like arm's distance away.
Pig, listen, I already wanted the Wii version. You don't have to sell me harder on it. Like, I'm on Amazon as I'm drawing right now, getting the Wii version of Xenoblade 1.
But the thing is, Definitive Edition also comes with the Future Connected DLC campaign, which does contribute towards the story. And that's a bigger deal.
I'll think about it. Because, I don't know. It's just one of those things. I think it would just be fun to have because on top of getting able to play it, it'd be like, oh, this is a very interesting thing Nintendo decided to do in terms of a franchise. So, let me see where it all began at that first one and stuff like that. And I've never had a problem with like performance issues in an older game. Like if I'm getting an older game,
it never bothered me. I just wanted you to be aware.
The DLC for sure. I'm kind of like, but I mean. At the end of the day, if I like it that much to like care a lot about the DLC, then I'd probably be like, okay, well, time to get it on Switch where I can own literally all of that, Because at that point, I'd probably be like, okay, well, I'll get 2 and 3 for Switch, and at that point, might as well pick up 1 as well because own the whole trilogy on that machine and everything.
If you're willing to wait.
Yeah.
I suspect that. Within a year or two,
Xenoblade 4.
No, before that, I suspect that like with the Switch's successor, not long after that, I think we're going to get what I'm predicting is going to be called the Trinity Collection, which will be a box set of 1, 2, and 3.
That'd be neat. I'd enjoy that.
Part of the reason I think that is because those games don't actually need to be remastered. They're all 3 available for the Switch.
So just make a box set.
Yeah. All you need is like a single collection that packages all 3 with their DLC, the complete story of minor spoiler, the Trinity processor. Hence the Trinity Collection.
Yeah.
And if it's called that, it is a slightly stronger piece of evidence towards one of my theories about Xenoblade 3.
No, I gotcha. What was I thinking of? I'm trying to think of something about Xenoblade. Yada yada. Oh no, I was thinking about the Switch. So what I want for the Switch too is generally, the Game Gear, Pig? Do you remember the Game Gear from Sega?
The Sega's attempt at making a Game Boy, which was more powerful but less successful.
Yes. I basically want that compared to the Switch, where it's chunky, but because it's chunky, it's just like a better running, better performing console and stuff like that. Maybe some different things, but I would really just like more of like that fun hardware stuff as opposed to just, it being I don't know, a Wii U, a PS5. Like, I have not gotten the PS5 because, again, like, I've talked about thinking about getting it for streaming, but in my own personal life, I don't super think I need a brick console sitting around on my desk again. Like I like how the Switch, I can pick it up and play on my couch and not have to worry about hooking it up to a TV or another screen. So
I have
do you sus again?
no, I have a wish list.
Mm-hmm.
I have a desire for the Switch 2.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, wait. Real quick,
Hmm?
before you say anything, I do want them to go back to their roots and call it the Super Switch. And even if they prove that the Wii U was the worst marketing decision in the world, I like the name Super Switch. So, but anyway, go on.
So, firstly, that is fantastic, and I feel like they've been leaning a little bit into their retro roots lately, so it's possible.
Yeah.
But so anyway, this is my dream for the Switch 2. Not going to happen, by the way. Nobody needs to tell me that this isn't going to happen. I'm fully aware.
Pokemon Master Sex. Yes, Greg is correct. I really didn't think that name through.
So, the form factor is very similar.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
not,
that's.
yeah,
Go on.
not identical, but it is still a system that docks, that has Joy-Cons that come off the side. Joy-Cons are bigger, chunkier, have actual working analog sticks. I know, call me crazy.
An insane person, really.
Now, this is where I know it gets unlikely.
Mm-hmm.
But hear me out. So, you use what they learned from like the Wii and the Switch and all of this. The Joy-Cons have much better motion tracking than.
I mean, I feel like.
Yeah.
You're saying it's getting unlikely now, but I would argue that's what they've been doing. Like, Nintendo loves the idea of adding motion detection in their consoles in order to play with it more than any other company does.
But trust me, we're getting there.
We're getting there. We're getting to it.
You know the rail where the Joy-Con slides on?
Yeah.
That is not just a rail, but is a squeeze sensor as well. So, we can finally have the milking the cow simulator that we all want. But the point of all this is that I want the Switch 2 to finally be the cheap entry point for VR games. Do basically what they wanted to do with the
Samsung.
No, what was the with the Labo VR?
Oh yes,
but with a not cardboard, actually higher quality headset, and
insane.
as your killer app, you launch that with Metroid Prime 4 VR. That is potentially a game changer.
Damn, you didn't have me in the first act, but then you very much did have me in the second. Like, you got me in the second half. Not gonna lie, because the idea, they were like, okay, guys, we delayed Metroid Prime 4 so much because we decided we want it to be our VR like launcher. I'm like, oh, actually, wait a minute, they might be cooking, because as long as the game in and of itself is still good, I do think that's what would get a lot of people to be like, well, I guess I have to get the VR console now because I'm not going to not play Metroid Prime 4.
And like the fundamental thing that I would want from it, and I want to be clear about this, the absolutely fundamental thing is that like the majority of games would still be traditional, put it in the dock, play it like a game games.
Yeah.
Every game would be playable in VR, but not every game is going to benefit from that, just like it was with Labo VR.
Mm-hmm.
But by opening the gates with Metroid Prime 4, a primarily VR experience, what you do is you just show to everybody, hey, this is the console. If you want to play a really incredible VR experience, it's here.
I mean, so I think the more likely than VR. So the only problem, because I forgot about Labo, and I mean I didn't forget about Labo in general, but I forgot that it had a VR thing because obviously
Correct.
I forgot about it.
Because 6 people bought it.
Yes, but besides that, the only thing that makes me think like like in the same vein of I don't think they're gonna make it like the Super Switch because fucking the Wii U cost them everything. But more so
That's
than
why they're doing the
Go.
4DS.
the 40 at hello Yui.
Now you're gaming with power. You.
Okay, I will say, to be fair, if they were just like, hey guys, remember the DS? Guess what? It's not just like a DS anymore. It can play like fucking Elden Ring on it. It'd just be like, okay, well, that's the console I'm gonna get and play forever now. But anyway, because you're like, Labo was a failure. You know what else was a failure? The Virtual Boy. And I know everyone's doing VR now, but how many times is Nintendo going to be like, yeah, we can do VR, before they're just like, I don't think we should do VR anymore. No one seems to like our shit.
I think
They were just too ahead of the curve, that's all.
They were.
I think the world is different now because of things like Half-Life Alyx. I think people are more comfortable with a first-person shooter experience in VR. Metroid has always had the advantage of leaning a little bit more onto the puzzle side than pure shooting, which really benefits an experience where you can see your environment more clearly. So I think there are, whether or not it will be the Switch 2, I would like to see a Metroid Prime VR at some point.
So, the two hardware stuff, I'd say off the top of my head, I think they could do that would make a thing, is again, docking mechanic, because I literally think that is a game changer for all of video games, and the fact no one else has done it yet is a massive disappointment. But also, if they were like, okay, we should listen to people more, they should do adaptive triggers again. Like, they keep re-releasing the Game Boy controller, so if they're gonna make big chunky Joy-Con, they probably won't make Joy-Cons again, honestly, but like the idea of the adaptive triggers, which they used in like Mario Sunshine and shit, would probably be a nice feature that is also not necessarily the wildest thing to put in there, you know? Like,
well, the thing is, Xbox and PlayStation both have analog triggers, so like frankly it's kind of weird that Nintendo doesn't, but that's not a wild thing to hope
exactly. But I will say, because what I wanted to get to is your idea for VR. The one thing besides just the idea of Metroid Prime 4 being delayed so it could be like the release thing for that is also just in general, they've given Metroid more love in the past few years, and Samus's just whole shit is kind of geared towards the first-person shooter genre, which is what made Metroid Prime so big, and thus like a VR console would be like, okay guys, we're doing a lot of Metroid now because we made the console for Metroid, so get with it. But yeah. Also, Yui, how are you?
I'm fine. I just love hearing you guys nerding out, honestly.
Well, listen, I'm saying it out. I think Pig is like, I have
Bye,
hopes.
Greg. I hope you have a good work.
Oh, bye, Greg.
Bye, Greg. I love you. Pig is saying it out of hope. I'm saying it out of fear because I think everything should be the Switch always forever, and no one else has done that. Which, I mean, probably because, you know, PS5 and shit were in development at the same time the Switch was. But still, I'm just like, no, I never want to worry about having a TV screen again. I want, like, I want all my gaming consoles to come with a TV screen pre-installed that I can play wherever the fuck I want to play them at, so.
I generally think that is a hell of a good idea, and I hope they continue that concept and just evolve with it. Honestly.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
Like, they should really be like, TV optional this time, and I'm like,
Yes.
yeah, I'm down, I don't care, like.
Fucking,
That's
it's
fine.
It's wild because PS5 was just like disc optional. It's like, no, I like physical media. That's the I like having a stack of games next to me. I'm fine with. You want to do FF7 again, where you give us 4 discs for one game? I'm okay with that. I want the physical game, especially after like DuckTales and Scott Pilgrim. But make it so that I don't have to sit on a couch. I don't have to hurt my ass playing Elden Ring for 30 hours because I can't get up and move around while playing it. So
Well,
honestly,
just
like
one of the
let
things-
me have the honor of doing like the Chad move of just like beating the hell out of these bosses, while probably
while default dancing in my living room on top of my dog. So,
The thing is, like, one of the big things is I realistically, like, I can't stream PS4 because moving my PS4 from my living room to my desk would be such a hassle.
Yeah.
However, my Switch is currently docked on my desk near my computer. Firstly, the dock is small compared to every other console. But then if I want to play on my TV, I just plug it into the dock on my TV. Nothing moves except the Switch.
Also, more so than that, like, what I'm suggesting is what you probably need to make the Switch more powerful is just more room. Like, that's the problem we're running up against, where it's just like we can't make things smaller quite yet to, you know, get that processing power. So the solution is just like make the Switch a little bigger. And I know it's harder than that, but
it doesn't need to be that much bigger.
No.
I agree with you. I think one of the things they need to do is make it thicker. The Switch does not need to be as skinny as it is.
No.
Yeah,
And-
actually, yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that. Honestly, maybe there's one thing that I have an issue with the Switch is literally the way it feels on your hands, like
Yeah.
without any like sort of like support.
Add some padding.
Third party, you know, yeah. So,
What I want the next Switch to be as thick as a Game Boy.
Yeah, that's what I know I said Game Gear, but that's literally how I started this. But
I know, but like nice and chunky in your hands.
yeah,
And that thickness gives you a lot more wiggle room for components.
fucking there was a Steve Jobs movie, wasn't there? Because,
I think there was like two of them. One where he was all like, fancy, and the other one where he was like a jerk.
okay,
Well,
I think I saw that one because I saw a clip of it today, and what I was and I said bring it up because I'm just like I don't need more minimalism.
There was a movie called Steve Jobs in 2015. Is that the one you're thinking of?
I have no idea. I just saw a clip of it. I was just confirming there was one that existed, and I wasn't. I mean, Seth Rogen was in it. That part I knew. But regardless, what I'm saying is, I don't need like more minimalism. I don't need everything to be super thin and white or whatever. What I want, I like cassette futurism, and I like chunky technology. So if chunky technology also happens to mean it has more processing power, then that's not like a, you know, but it is a win-win situation for me. So give it to me now.
Yeah. No, I actually agree with you on that. I think some forms of minimalism are kind of like ridiculous, especially when it comes to games too.
Yeah. Also,
Can you imagine?
how has your day been?
Oh, so tiring. I've been tired. I've been working for almost. Oh man, if I didn't rest yesterday, I would have been working about 4 weeks straight, and that's not a good.
Oh my lord.
Oh, that is unacceptable.
Yeah. So no, I was really tired today too. But I saw Evo yesterday. That was fun.
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up.
I had heard about that. See, this is the thing. I'm never gonna go to Evo, but it would be nice if I could do like, you know, some level of like good kind of competitive Dragon Ball Fighter Z. I just need to actually be good at fighting games, which I am not in the slightest.
I think you need a lot of coffee. I feel like people who play Dragon Ball Fighter drink a lot of coffee to be really good at that game. Because my God.
Well, it's funny because Team 4-Star, who did Dragon Ball Z Abridged, used to do like top 10 lists for Dragon Balls during December, like where they would talk about different things, and one was video games, and it was the year before Dragon Ball Fighter Z came out, and like they were and most of their list was filled with just like, this one looks good, but this one feels like a fighting game. And then when they did talk about Fighter Z eventually, they were just like, this is both, and we are ashamed we couldn't put it on the list because it was the best one by far. So that, among with other reasons, is why I'm just like, if there's one fighting game I'm going to get good at, it's going to be that one. So
you should. It's fun. It literally is. It's like super fun. I don't want to discourage anyone playing it because like it's really fun eventually.
I know it's less of a fighting game and more of a party game, but I try to get good at Smash at one point, and I'm not good at Smash. It turns out.
I mean, there's a strong debate that it actually is a fighting game. I don't know what the argument is with like people in the FGC about like it not being one. I think it really is just like a joke at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
Honest.
So like because it generally does take actual like skills to do some of the craziness that people be doing in that game. So
what I will say is that if the qualifier to be a fighting game is that you need like shitty directional inputs to do combos, then I don't want to play most fighting games because my thumbs prevent me from doing that, and I need something a little more forgiving.
Oh yeah, you have damn thumbs, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know if they're straight up like, you know, unformed Danny Sexbang thumbs, but you know they don't do what I want them to. They're a little chunky and everything. So like the more forgiving a game is with controls, the more I can be like, okay, I don't have to worry about my thumbs too much. A little wiggle room. But I mean Pac-Man, and let me tell you, the Pac was back because no one knew how the fuck to deal with like fire hydrants and fruit being thrown at them constantly. So.
Oh man, oh Pac-Man was tight. Yeah, I did like playing Pac-Man too.
I love Pac-Man.
Jeez, I kind of want to get back on that game for a bit just to screw around. It was so
It
good.
it's fun. Like that's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, I don't Smash is the real argument for Smash not being a fighting game is you shouldn't be taking it that seriously. But I could say that about a lot of games. So, you know, everyone needs to chill out a little bit, okay?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that honestly. Like, but I mean, at the end of the day, you know, when you have something that wants to be competitive, there are people that will take it seriously because at that point they're dedicating a lot of time and probably money into it. So
yeah, I mean,
you know?
I used to watch a YouTuber who talked about like their fighting game experience, and they were saying how good you have to do in the tournament to make it worth like going and everything. Yeah. Like you have to place very highly to be like, okay, that paid for my plane ticket and shit and made a bit of profit, yada yada yada. So I do get that to a good bit, you know, because doing it professionally, it's like, yeah, that's serious. So
I mean, I also believe that there's like a difference between like being like serious and passionate about the game and just being a complete dick. So,
yeah.
like, you know, it's like there's a factor to it too. I think some people get that mixed up way too much, where they think, oh man, I lost in this tournament, and I'm very upset and tilted. And instead of taking that as a learning lesson to get better at something, I'm just gonna throw my control on the ground and stomp away. And then when I come back, when someone picks up my control, I'm gonna try to punch him.
Yeah, no, there's some outbursts where it's just like, I get you're upset, but holy shit. Also, hey Paula, please go to a doctor. Actually, I mean, like, I guess that is kind of a good thing, but
Whoa.
and
Paula, that's
nightmare.
of great concern.
Okay, so to Paula's credit, I would argue if your tooth got hurt and just the entire thing came out, you'd be like, well, I don't need to go to the dentist anymore. There's not a tooth to worry about. But if it's the problem is there's some tooth still left. So that's the issue.
Also, I think you could.
Teeth falling out is still a reason to go to the dentist because that frequently means that the roots are damaged or gum disease or a million things.
This is what I'm saying. I'm not gonna say gum disease, but I will speak to the individual tooth. If it was damaged, then the gum being, the root being messed up is not at all a wacky concept to suggest. So
Also, maybe put it in some milk because that might help out.
put your mouth in some milk.
No, I mean the tooth. I mean, if there's any way to salvage it, you might want to put it in some
For
milk.
evidence. I got you.
Well,
no,
to
you're
keep
right.
it preserved.
Yeah.
Yeah. And evidence too. You could tell them that, like, you know.
When I was a
bit
child,
of air and it ran away. Huh?
when I was a child, most of my teeth never fell out, like ever. So quite frequently later on in life, they were like, "Okay, we're pulling all of them." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh my god. No.
I never minded it that much, but there was one. The one time it like kinda hurt was largely because it came out with the root, which was a solid inch long. Like the tooth was well and truly the size of my jaw entirely. Like it was a big tooth, and I've lost it, and I wish I had hung on to it because it was a spectacle to behold. If I'm being honest with you guys, so that's my tooth story. I don't.
So terrible. I'm gonna be honest.
Some people are really afraid of the dentist. Dearest Ace Fashion icon Jaden Animations talked before about how they are like, you know, irrationally afraid of the dentist, and I say irrationally because like they physically cannot control themselves when the dentist is happening. So like that was their video. They were just like, yeah, I knew it was fine, but I could not help being terrified for my life, and I was just like, damn. But I've always been okay with doctors, so.
I think the only reason I don't like the dentist too much, it's not even that I don't like the dentist, I just don't like the ass kicking they give my teeth, honestly.
just really making your gums bleed and everything.
Pretty much, they're just looking at me like, oh, you've been a really dirty boy down there. And I'm like,
I hate that.
I've lost.
Yui,
You
I
don't
love-
floss enough. It's just like,
Yui,
okay.
I love you so much. Please never again say the phrase, "You've been a very dirty boy down there."
Yui, we should talk more, but I want you to say I've been a very dirty boy down there as many times as you feel like, because you deserve to be able to say it, so. Really leave it
I'll
up
say
to
in front
you.
of I won't say it in front of me.
Okay, yeah, there we go. Just in a room filled with... At my grandma's funeral, when you're there. But Pig's not, you'll say it in front of the crowd. That's a great idea.
Oh god, it's like walk up to the casket and just go. You've been a very dirty.
No, Grandma! Grandma, no! Look at that.
God.
I got the flag done. Okay, so that scene is done. Too bad. Most of the film still isn't, so we'll figure out how to do that as I continue. Wait. No, this is... Okay. I was like, didn't I skip it? Because I have them labeled off to the side where no one can see them. And
I hope you all are proud of me.
Yeah?
Why? Give me a reason to be.
So, I'm editing about an hour and a half of footage, and I'm trying to fit it into a TikTok.
Oh, what? Yeah? Yeah, Pig?
It's
What?
my trying to land on the moon compilation.
Oh, my lord. Oh, so you're just taking every time you crashed and being just like... Here...
Well, I'm creating
Symphony.
a definitive guide for landing on the moon.
You're putting the effort... You're putting the work in, I'll say that much. I did have more planned for the... No, I was gonna say Shira, but it's Mithra. Mithra clip I posted, but I was just like...
No, that's all you needed.
What, Shira? Or what I
No.
posted is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was thinking about including like the logos in Genshin Impact and stuff, and I was like, nah, no, I don't really feel like it. So
The way you say no, I'm fairly confident you just channeled in there for a second.
no, no. Oh my goodness. I am also, to what Yui had said not but a moment ago, also a little drained just because of job shit today. So that's why I'm like, I wish again. I said this to Pig. I wish to be a hobbit in a hobbit hole and not be bothered again.
I generally felt that stretch. I was like, wow.
Yeah, it's not a physical tired, which was not but a day ago, because like, I mean, like, I'm standing around in a pet store all day, like, full on 8.5 hours a day, every day. So eventually my feet get tired, and that was the main thing towards the end of my last shift, where I was just like, I want to go home and sit for 24 hours, but then job stuff just mentally drained me, where I was just like, I want to sleep for all the time. Please, please. Getting some. I will help as much as I can, Paula. Both because you discovered the broken tooth on my stream, and because you're a cool person who doesn't deserve their teeth broken.
Agreed.
Saying that made me think of Mobsters, and I really need to watch all the John Wick movies. I've seen the first one. I need to see the other 3.
I saw. Damn, how many did I see? I think I saw. No. Did I see the third one? I remember the second one.
I haven't seen any of them.
I mean, I heard they're good. And to be fair, it is kind of a master class of story. John Wick and Up have the same master class in storytelling, where within like 5 minutes of the film, they get you on board with the character with an incredibly sad story. And then the rest of the movie is free to happen. So,
Yeah, you're right. Dang, I love Up. That was such a good movie. Do I have that? I don't think I have Up. I should buy that.
You know
Up is
what?
pretty good.
No, I disagree with you.
What? That
Up is a fantastic short, followed by a completely middling film.
No, you are wrong about that, because I think the art is great, and because the whole story is like, okay, it was depressing for a second, but here's how we're gonna bring our boy up out of that depression.
Oh my god.
I love
So
these
smart,
guys.
Cahill.
So it is a movie about because literally the whole film is him trying to hang on to the past by finally doing the thing him and his wife talked about for years. But
Cahill, I get it.
yeah, and I think it's well done. So screw you, pig. What do you know about filmmaking?
They did do a good job at it, honestly. Like, it really is about, like, not moving on necessarily, but, like, kind of coming to terms with certain things and just,
Yeah.
I don't know, trying to come out on top of it, you know?
I mean, I only say
more about yourself.
Yeah, I'm only saying moving. What was in my throat? Oh, that was a rat.
Oh, my nut.
Okay. Anyway, so I was gonna say that because like that's kind of like when he's looking at the book and everything, like the memories book and shit. That is kind of like I feel like what his wife was telling him when she left a note in there, being just like, "Hey, still do shit even if I'm dead," and he was like, "No, I don't want to," and she was like, "Do it."
Do it! Also, your face is square. He was like, what?
Oh, you're right. My face is square.
She said, you're gonna meet a dog and a Boy Scout in the future. I'm psychic. Also, ugh.
I was not, but I do eat a lot of granola bars, so I will say that.
Oh, so it is your fault long term.
Long term, yeah. By supporting the granola industry, I've accidentally broken Paula's tooth, and this will be my YouTube apology video. So, I'm sorry.
I can't believe it.
Are you in league with the dentist? That it would happen during your Paula. What you don't understand, this was all my plan to really mine that sweet tooth breaking content on the internet, which is something everyone loves to watch. Is tooth pain a universally
sugars to everyone's teeth, and then we will summon the cavity creeps to take them over.
I don't
Only
like
for you
that.
to come back and make me more richer as the dentist that would poke into your whatever things in your mouth. I don't know what's going on here. I'm sorry, I lost it.
So
I lost it.
Yeah, you were not here yesterday, Yui, but Paula broke their tooth on stream. Well, they weren't on my stream, but during stream they chatted, I have broken my tooth. And we were like, oh no, Paula, see a dentist. And they're like, I'm sure it'll be fine. And then they have messaged today that the rest of their tooth has fallen out. So, well, okay, to be fair, again, if Paula said all of my tooth is gone, I'd be like, well, then the problem has fixed itself. No tooth to have been broken, i.e. we're okay. But they've said most of it is gone. And that, I think that's a problem, because that means there's still some left, and that some left must be taken care of. So, but, please. Paula, I will, just because I am quick to know about it, I'm going to be like, everyone go support Paula's fundraiser. They need tooth. No one should live with bad tooth. We here at Cahill Comics offer dental, probably if I could afford it.
And I will also protest granola bars by now.
I will not eat any granola from now on. I will exclusively eat the exotic meat of the baby beluga whale, which is a much better alternative compared to granola after today.
Exactly that.
It's so. I mean, I don't know if it's true. I don't know how smart scientists are in regards to stuff like this, but it's so weird to think about that the squishy parts on beluga whale's head serve apparently a purpose in their lives.
Why wouldn't they serve a purpose?
Because freaking there's a lot of chubby people in the world, but that's not necessarily serving a purpose.
That serves a purpose. It has a purpose.
Okay, but let me say this. I thought it was just fat, is what I mean by that.
That can still serve a purpose.
Okay, but radar is not typically sonar. Sonar is not typically the purpose I associate with just blobs being on you. I wouldn't if you tied a balloon to a submarine, I wouldn't be like, that's gonna help with their sonar later, and everyone would be like, you're right, absolutely it will. I just thought they were cute like that. I just thought it was there to make them cute. Like how we've inbred dogs to do the same. an ethical and cool thing about humans.
See, now I'm just thinking about beluga dogs.
I mean, there's Jeff the Shark Dog from Marvel Comics, and he's great. So I'm thinking of like him, but a beluga whale, which is even better. So. Jeff,
You're even better. Got it.
Pig, you need to stop switching from being very complimentive to sexually insulting me. So.
The thing is, you know I'm not going to.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna keep insulting you at sex, and then also keep saying nice things about you in between that.
Like, the aim is that you should never know what's coming next. Except it's you, because, you don't last long.
I was gonna say that your nuts were coming next, but you know what? Maybe you did a better punchline. We're gonna leave it up to the audience, okay? Also, how many letters are in screwed?
7.
Screwed.
7.
Yep, you're right. How many letters are in payday? 6. Okay, so it was gonna be smaller anyway. So basically, the gag here, because I'm proud of this eyeball gag, is that after seeing that it is not in fact a merchant ship to plunder but another pirate, their eyes that have spelled out the word payday will shatter into glass and reveal their eyes now saying we're screwed. So
I think that's pretty neat. I like that.
you're pretty neat, Yui. So what was I thinking of?
Huh?
I'm still thinking about what I said yesterday after offering Paula Dental. I'm like, honestly, I want them to come to an agreement, because I would like to kind of budget out how much it would cost for me to hire an animator ethically. So, because I'd actually like my own real studio and not just pretend that me being one person is my own studio. But maybe one day, when I'm rich and not poor.
Probably also depends on where you're switching it to.
That is true. Yui, what's your dream?
To continue this nightmare that I live. No. Like, I guess in general right now, like,
Yes.
it really is just to like finally like release a manga and hopefully release a game one day.
I would love to see any comic that Yui works on. That sounds
No, you're
very
into
cool.
that, Yuri. I want to see that.
Yes, same.
Yeah.
I would
Yui,
love to see.
online, my last name is Comics, and out of line, my last name is Cahill. But that doesn't have a bearing on the conversation. But what I'm saying is, I would be interested in any comic a friend makes. So, you better let me know, and then I can, and then I turn around behind Yui's back, and then I can use him to profit for my own gains.
And I get all the money.
And then I can get all the money. The money is mine.
Money.
I'd be like, hey Yui, can I do one fan art for your comic, please? Thank you. Yes. Okay. Away
Oh, you
with
totally
me.
can. I would be freaking delighted, honestly.
You're delightful. So.
So are you? You guys are freaking amazing. You already
No,
know.
you. My butt hurts.
Oh my god.
I know. I need. You know what? Honestly, I want like, orthopedic. That's not the word. What's the word when you get special shoes to make your foot feel good? You know the ones like old people wear, like Pig. Pig, what kind of granny shoes do you wear?
I don't wear granny shoes.
No, okay. But do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay.
I
Anyway,
wear granny shoes.
I want good shoes. Actually, I do need new shoes is the thing. These things are falling apart, but it's just one of the,
I just wear sneakers.
Well, I mean, same. I wear slip-on sneakers because they are like the easiest thing to wear. And also, legitimately, they look good. Because here's the thing you don't think of. No, absolutely not. We already have one friend that wears Crocs. I'm not going to be this. We're not going to form a Croc gang. I refuse. I refuse to be a part of that. But like, I just want shoes that help me feel better while standing, and I want seats that make my butt feel good no matter how much I'm sitting in them. I want ultimate comfort at all times. I was thinking about that, because there was a certain piece of media recently talking about a god of a certain subject, and I was just like, if there was one thing I was going to embody, what would it be? And I decided that would be rest. I like resting a lot in order to do things later. So if I was going to embody one thing, it would not just be like sloth. It would be like, no, I'm just sleeping now so I can do stuff later. Don't worry about it. That's my thing.
The god of comfort, the god of rest.
There you go. God of comfort's not bad. The god of the comfort. Come forth, come forth.
Apparently, this god was into coming forth.
So,
Kind of odd.
some.
You're like, no, it's
YouTube-
comfort, damn it. Why does everyone keep getting that wrong?
Lord, I remember seeing a post not too long ago about like the trope in Hollywood movies where they will translate something and it will be like a limerick in English.
Yes.
And in real life, it's just like, okay, this word may either mean sheep or child. So one of those.
What?
Yeah, like because like real translation is like very, very roughly getting an idea of what they were talking about versus the movies where it's just like, I know the exact words they're speaking in this. Also, speaking of, I mean, I feel like I talk about my ancient history class, not ancient history, art history class a decent amount on stream, but that's because it was so cool. And learning about like what the fuck the Rosetta Stone was and all that shit, that was super cool. Because I had no idea what that was for a long time. I just thought we knew how to speak languages because people had lived long enough to tell us how to speak those languages. But no, we found a rock that happened to have a lot of them on there. And that's pretty cool.
It is probably the most prescient artifact of all time.
So I should steal it, is what you're saying.
So there was like totally an artifact that already had languages, and we were just like, we're taking some of those or something.
No, so what happened, Yui? Like what the Rosetta Stone allowed us to do was translate Egyptian hieroglyphs, because we had like no idea what it was. We didn't know if it was like a normal written language or if it was purely pictographic. Like we had no idea, and we translated like 1 or 2 symbols total out of the whole thing. What the Rosetta Stone was is someone like 4,000 years ago decided to write down the exact same passage of text in Latin, Greek, and hieroglyphs. And we could read the Latin and Greek to confirm that they were the same thing, because we've got lots of samples of Latin and Greek. But what that allowed us to do is start translating the hieroglyphs because we knew what it was meant to say. And so that led to this massive breakthrough. But the thing is, the person who created the Rosetta Stone must have been smart enough to look ahead and go, unlikely as it is, it's possible that one day one of these languages that is right now understood throughout like the whole civilized world, maybe it'll be lost. So we write it down in 3 languages so that in the future people can figure it out, and that's rad.
I thought
I also want to. Oh,
No,
go ahead.
on. I was gonna say I thought it was like a proclamation of some sort or something that needed to be read to multiple people, and thus just by convenience that happened to be necessary a long time ago, that like we ended up with an artifact that was able to translate a bunch of languages for us. I did not hear that it was a active work of human preservation to try and like.
I believe it is an active work, but I could easily be wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
It's happened
like
once
so
before.
good. I'm assuming I'm wrong. Like right now, I'm assuming you're right and I'm wrong. But either way, let's cover our bases.
I very much hope it's like something in terms of like, an act of human preservation.
Yeah.
But the funny side of me really wants it to be like this guy who's just like, you know what, you motherfuckers are never gonna understand anything in the future. This is gonna be stupid.
I'm going
We're too
to do
dumb
it.
to remember any of this. I'm just gonna leave notes here. They hopefully will figure it out in 4,000 years.
And also, by the way, the stone it's fucking big. Like pictures of it, like it is a chunky stone.
I got it.
It's like this massive chunk of stone.
It is a solid brick. But also, I do want to say,
But like when you hear about it, you think it's like what you think of as stone tablets,
like
what's
the
in
Ten
movie.
Commandments.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. No, this thing's like 4 feet tall and 3 feet thick.
Seriously.
And like there are
Like-
chunks missing, but clearly like we know what those might have said, and also like, if anything, it just shows how fucking big this thing is because holy shit. I was gonna say, because like legitimately because granted, I have accepted. Maybe this is too deep. I've accepted at one point maybe there will be nothing of what like was on Earth, yada yada yada. Who cares? Entropy. But I do think it is a worthwhile endeavor to be like, hey, how long can we preserve something so that anyone who is in the future can see it? And
I completely agree. That's a very important thing.
and something I was and that's something that's going to be in my webcomic at one point, and something I'm going to put in there that I think would be neat to do in real life is like, I don't like how the pyramids of Giza look. I think they look like crumble cake. So what I'm suggesting we do is we create a shell around it in the shape of a pyramid to preserve the historic interior, and then the exterior looks like what they used to look like, because they used to have like slats on them to make them look flat and everything, but over time with everyone fucking it up, they got torn away and shit, and now we just have the hard underbelly. And
they also used to be capped with gold.
that I heard that was a theory
That's
apparently, but
wild.
still. But yeah, but no, I agree. So that's what I'm suggesting. We make a shell to preserve them for even longer than they will already exist. And also, on top of that, serving the purpose of preserving the actual pyramids, the exterior looks like what they used to look like in their heyday and everything. And again, the Egyptian government and every historian on Earth would tell me to go fuck myself. So I'm just going to put it in a webcomic and say that's good enough. So, and also that's why I say fuck the Spanish conquistadors, because do you know how much cool stuff the Aztec Empire had? So many cool things, and they were like, no, get rid of all of it. And I'm like, you're a bunch of assholes. Leave forever.
Yeah, we're just gonna melt all that. Yeah, we're melting all that.
We're gonna sink the city, and it's like, what the? It's a floating city. What do you mean you're gonna get rid of it? So that is what I've been told a lot, is that like a lot of Egyptian monuments have been left there because they were too cool for conquering civilizations to take them down. They're like, we don't actually want to destroy this like we've done everything else in human history. So.
Of course.
But I mean, hey, I was talking before about how I like physical media, and that's why, because if nothing else, I can do my very small part to try and preserve what I can, whether it's an original copy or reprints of stuff. And corporations have only, not to get so political, but they've only made me feel like that's more important, with them being like, no, divvy it all up for legal stuff, and then put it everywhere scattered across the internet. Oh my lord. What is... I'm just gonna say it because, like, I'm just gonna speak my truth. Like, my family is just like, here's job posting, and it's like, I'm doing it, okay? I don't need it 24/7 and everything. So, it is a little mentally, like, I appreciate the idea. It's just a little mentally taxing when it's constant. So, that was actually. I texted Pig earlier today, and then I was like, Pig, I'm too tired. I'm sorry. I'll tell you about this later. So, just to speak it out, I was just like, Pig, what does it take to... You know what it's like to go to Canada and work there. And I was like, I should probably look into that, because Canada is actually a decent hub. Vancouver, Canada is a decent hub of animation. So, I always forget Vancouver is on the west coast. Every time I think of Canada, I'm just like, the East Coast has cities and like pretty normal stuff, and then north and northwest are just abandoned frozen wastelands with nothing but wilderness
Fun
and death.
fact, if you were to go to Vancouver, you would be significantly further away from me than you are now.
It is interesting, agreed, but
Wow.
I mean, animation calls for sacrifice. Animation and art calls for sacrifices. Lime, oh my, Lime, did you have a good birthday? I hope so.
Good barf. Wow. Sorry, I'm just looking at a map of Canada. I'm just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Is there like a population map where you can tell where it's like spread? Because I mean, I've heard that from Canadian
just
people.
A general like map, and I'm.
I mean,
Wow.
the entire Canadian population is like a string of pearls along the southern border.
Yeah, close to. And I mean, I'm okay with that. It's better than Russia because I feel like Russia was like, we're the biggest country. And meanwhile, it's like so much of it is a like barren waste and frozen tundra that no one wants to live in. And it's like, yeah, I guess you are, but like by an extreme technicality. If you didn't claim it, like that land and everything, no one would, and we wouldn't care about it. Like Antarctica, because like no one wants to go there. So fucking be proud of yourself, I guess.
Also, forgive me for being a dingus, but damn, Greenland's all the way up there. I don't know why I thought it was like not that high up. Holy shit.
No. Hey, Pig.
It is very far to the north.
Yeah.
You might. I feel like you're smarter than me, and you probably know this. Is Greenland North America or Europe?
It is generally considered part of Europe.
Gotcha. I don't think there's any actual political implications for what continent it's considered a part of, but regardless, I don't know. And even though there's lots of countries in Central America, in school we were like, there are 3 countries in North America: Canada, U.S., and Texas. Just Mexico. Oops.
I mean, Cahill, you have just stumbled into the Texan dream.
I know. That's like the flag bot on former Twitter where it was just like, you're gonna start a war making these images
someone in Texas is gonna be like, he said it, it's done, he said it, we're a country now.
We got him.
He
Just
said
like,
it.
It's like, no.
Okay, he'll said it. It's lore now. It's like, oh shit.
Oh my goodness. What would you even? I mean, I feel like there'd be like, we'll change so much, and it's to be like, no. If we just labeled all of North America America, I'd imagine a lot of it would still end up being the same because it would be so big. Like, you know, lots of different people would live everywhere. So it'd be like the Roman Empire. You couldn't keep track of all of it.
It's one of the issues with North America. It is huge.
Yeah. So.
Like all of the countries are massive.
So that's why. So it's just like, it doesn't matter who owns what. If anything, America itself is just 50 small countries in a trench coat pretending to be a bigger one, and it acts like it too. So fucking, you know, I have always been like, New Jersey could be a country. I'm not preaching secession, but what I am saying is that there are natural barriers separating it from the rest of America, and it grows its own crops and produces stuff that it needs by itself. Like, obviously we don't have everything, but crossing the Delaware River isn't so hard that we couldn't just hop over to Pennsylvania and be like, hey guys, can we have some stuff? So, you know.
I mean, nations already trade with each other.
Yeah. So that's why. Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm not being like New Jersey should secede. No, I'm saying if all the states were just their own countries, I think New Jersey wouldn't be too worse for wear. I think it would be almost the same as it is now, even though everyone likes to rag on it. So we're the Garden State. We're proud of it. Damn it! Ah. Stop making fun of us. Anyway. Lime, I love you, and I hope you got all the monies and gifts today.
Yeah, hi, Lime.
We were talking at the start of the stream. We were talking about hoarding bad dragons. So I hope you hoarded a couple yourself today. So, have a great birthday. Have a great after birthday.
I didn't even know it was your birthday, but happy birthday.
I will say, I think Greg is a very good person for doing that, because that's the thing, right? I can consider most of my friends closer than family, but I know family birthdays, nuclear family birthdays, by the way. If you asked me what my grandparents' birthdays were to the day, I wouldn't be able to tell you, because, you know, in my household, I grew up with those being yearly things all the time. You know, you had to memorize them. So Greg always being like, I have every birthday I know written down and will tell people when they happen.
Oh yeah, it's incredible.
Yes, he's a saint for it. So very, very good of Greg.
I genuinely, no joke, think Greg is a very good person.
Yes, I mean, I think, no, I mean, not to take away from Greg, because Greg is, but I think most people in the watch are. I think that's why even if it's not a team, I love the community. Because it's not a community that would tolerate someone being a general dickwad to the rest of the people in it. So pretty good, all things considered.
Nice.
But yeah.
You're pretty good, all things considered.
No, oh my goodness, sweet lord, this is a bucket. Dear God, there's more. No. I should do a TF2 stream. If anyone, if there, we have enough people who are like, hey, Cahill, I'd play a game with you and want to play TF2. Let's do it. Because fucking, I'd want to try it out, and I don't need people being like, it's so old. Yeah, but it's a piece of internet history, and it literally got an update, which is why everyone was playing it again. So, like, I want to see it for myself, even though, like, some of the hats are worth thousands of actual world dollars, which is an insane thing to think about, but...
I think people are still playing it, yeah.
Yeah, oh no, it's had an active fan base for the longest time. The other thing that's interesting, though I probably won't do it, just because, like, I could just do an actual D&D campaign if I wanted to play with friends. Baldur's Gate, I just heard today that apparently it had one of the biggest active multiplayer bases on Steam with, like, 80,000 people playing at a single time. So
Yeah, it's quite impressive.
yeah, I mean, it's D&D, you know, like that's the thing. When who owns Wizards of the Coast? Is that it, or Mattel?
Frustratingly, yes, Wizards of the Coast.
Wizard, yeah, because they're like, we're gonna monetize it as shittily as possible. It's just like, it's D&D. You know what I was thinking about this the other day, because what they were trying to do was monetize existing D&D content from independent creators, which is shitty because, like, they didn't consult any of the creators on that, or they're just kind of taking their money for no reason. When what they could do is sell the idea of D&D kind of, I don't want to say based, because I'm not saying, like, you know, the fantasy thing. I'm saying one of the things that makes D&D stories so compelling from creators is that there is the legitimate, like, you know, element of chance and risk to it. It's not all scripted. Some important things are down to a dice roll, and you could easily market that to people, because, like, it will just make things more interesting as opposed to generic, which is, you know, I talked about not too long ago. That's what a lot of Hollywood stuff feels like, where it's just like, I'm sick of seeing this all the time forever. So same thing.
And I guess it's just that it being that organic is what...
Yeah, exactly. I feel like at first it would just be the D&D movie again, which, by the way, I'm sure they don't have to care about money from D&D productions now. They had a great movie opening and everyone praised the production, so, like, I'm sure they're just like, okay, D&D is paying for itself again.
The one that came out recently, is that the one
Yeah,
you're talking about?
yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
That shit was funny, dude.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, at first, it can be like that, where it is recognizably D&D, and it's just a fun fact that they're using, like, dice rolls to actually decide what happens in the story. But then after that, the more you establish that as a type of entertainment, the more you can be like, okay, we're gonna do different stuff on it, because we all know that just by now you're all on board. Let's branch out into, like, sci-fi, or maybe you do a slice of life where it's just dice roll, and it's just like, hey, remember the character you loved? It died of a flu because it failed its constitution check. Like, you know, you can get wacky with it.
What I still want the Muppets D&D movie.
Yes.
Where
I've seen that.
all of the people around the table are Muppets, but their characters are played by real world actors
with the Muppet voices.
Yes. And so, like, all of the scenes are like Jason Momoa as Miss Piggy's barbarian. Jason Momoa acting, Miss Piggy voice acting.
To the credit, because these movies were legitimately fun. I have not seen the original Jumanji in a while, but, like, the sequel / reboots they made were legitimately kind of fun. Like, credit to where it's due for The Rock, because it's literally just like, hey, The Rock, I need you to act like a dork now. I need you to act like a awkward high schooling teen.
Good
Yeah.
actor. Weird.
Well, that's the thing.
Don't get
The two things, especially watching iPatch's Wolf video on wrestling, the two things you need to have to be good at wrestling is decent acting and very good physical work, because the acting comes in with having to not like the part where you're, like, hamming it up, even though that is a major part of it, but, like, more so the reactions to getting hit or hitting someone, like, that needs to be legitimate enough. Like that you need to have down as a kind of skill, because the one I started watching was his essay on Rowan Reigns and how Rowan Reigns was like hated by the crowd at first because he was bad at the acting part. Like he would be awkward on the mic and then not be able to sell like when he was getting hit and shit. So legitimately, some wrestlers, even if they don't end up in good productions all the time, can end up being really good actors. And you know what? Listen, the Suicide Squad, and I'm just gonna assume you all know I mean the good one and not the bad one. I hate Peacemaker, but John Cena did a great job making me hate Peacemaker. Like he was good at it, so hats off to him.
He actually is really good at in the show.
Yes,
Like the show that they made. Oh my god, he's phenomenal.
I didn't have any
you want to
interest
talk
in
about
it,
like a character arc? I was like, what the fuck?
yeah, no.
Like at first I thought it was just gonna be like some cheesy, jokey, like, oh yeah, ha ha ha, look, it's like Suicide Squad, and
yeah,
you know we're just bringing that, except it's like a TV series, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And then no, they really did kind of do like this whole arc thing and made this character more developed, and I was like, damn, they really went somewhere with it. It was really nice. I liked it.
The one criticism I have for the good Suicide Squad is Polka Dot Man, because I think, sure, at the start of the movie, kill a bunch of characters, including Captain Boomerang, who I would have kept alive because he's Captain fucking Boomerang. But, you know, like, you get it, it's the Suicide Squad, we gotten to the point, death is kind of a joke, no matter how brutal it is. But Polka Dot Man had a good character arc that ended, and then they killed him, and I think that was unnecessary, and it didn't really land. Which is the same with the Barbie movie, because I'm not going to spoil it, but there is a thing at the end of the Barbie movie where I was like, I don't think that landed the way you guys wanted it to. It didn't really make me, like, laugh or anything like that, so that's why I'm like, you guys shouldn't have done that. Like, actually, let the audience feel good afterwards, so. Because it's not like Suicide Squad doesn't have a happy ending. You know, they're not going for bittersweet. It's just they decide to kill a character for no reason, and I'm just like, hey, stop that. So, okay. I think I'm good with this. I appreciate everyone coming by, including Lime on their birthday. Oh my goodness. They're great. Tomorrow we're going to play Hades, and I'm going to use the shield, because I'm going to say it again tomorrow, but last time I played Hades, someone was like, I love this shield, it's good, and I was like, psh, sure, alright, only for someone to do a supposedly impossible thing while using the shield. So,
no, I can't play with the shield. That thing is terrible for me. I suck at it. But I gotta go. I'll catch you guys later.
Same. Goodbye, Yui.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
I love you. What was I thinking of? I'm checking on who I should raid. See, you clear. I'm not sure. I could do. You know what? I'm gonna raid Dollop Days because I like Dollop Days, and what was I thinking of? They seem to be doing something interesting, so of my options seems a good idea. Thanks y'all for coming. Yeah, I want to be Captain America when I go back to, you know, fucking. Actually, you know what? How about we raid Super Paper Box House? Don't say this, because he's heard it to death, but he's the guy who did the Eggman voice for the dubs. So,
Oh.
yes. So everyone go give it, and he's an animator. You know, like that, because he was on a thing recently where they were, I was watching where they were talking about, it's like, oh my gosh, you're Eggman. And he's like, I do other stuff. So, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna go do that, and I hope y'all have a good one. See you later. Bye.